Hey friends, I'm going to apologize right up front. The clips you're about to see are all the way from January to March. My other work has just picked up a lot in the last couple months, which is really great. And so that means I haven't had the mental space to be able to put together videos. But I'm sitting down today and working on editing the videos that I have clipped on my phone over the past couple of months. And so I hope you will enjoy this compilation of February and March. Hey guys, and welcome back to Wild Hearts Homestead. Today I'm going to show you what we're doing here. We've had really fluctuating weather. We were down into the 20s this week, and we're going to get back up into the 60s this coming week. So I've delayed some of our seed planting a little bit. Normally I would have my tomatoes and peppers started by now, but because of the temperatures and it being cooler longer, I am delaying those this year. Today I am working on gathering up seeds from my tea plants. I am going to attempt to get these to germinate. Now the tea seeds are very difficult to get them to germinate, so there is a more complicated method that you can use to get them to germinate, which involves soaking them for 24 hours and then going through a process of wetting them and drying them repeatedly to get them to crack a little bit, so then it's easier for them to germinate. So we're going to attempt it. Hopefully we'll get at least a few of them to germinate, because I would love to expand my hedge of tea plants, and we'll see what happens. So our first step is to soak our seeds for 24 to 48 hours. I'm going to keep these where I get ready in the morning so that I'll see them and I'll remember to give them a stir. And I won't forget about them. The second step for getting our tea seeds to germinate is after they have soaked for 24 to 48 hours, we're going to lay them out on a towel, let them dry completely. And you want this to be kind of a sunny place, because you want the hard seed coating to go through a artificial scarification. So scarification is when you are scratching the seed coat to make it easier for the plant to germinate. So instead of us having to go through and do it one by one, the book says that we're going to go through a process where we continually wet and dry our seeds so that it will crack the seed coat. So we're going to let these dry, and then every so often over the next couple of days, we're just going to spray them with water and get them wet again and then let them dry again. And going through that wet, dry process will crack the seed coat and help them to germinate better. So I've wet and dried my tea seeds over probably about 2 weeks or so, and they should be good and scarified for germination. Now our next step is to lay them out in a mixture of soil and sand. So I'm going to cover these up with another 2 inches of soil and sand, and then we're going to get it wet and we're going to cover it so it'll be like a miniature little greenhouse. Now, according to the book, this could take 5 months for these to germinate. So we probably won't see these pop up anytime soon, but hopefully by middle of summer, we will see these popping up and ready to go. As you can probably hear, our chicks arrived yesterday. 28 new egg layers. So they did throw a couple extra in there, I think just in case something happened to one of them on the journey. But you can hear they are very noisy, and we're really excited to have chicks. I have had some comments on my setup in the past, so I'm just going to show you really briefly how I have this set up. I try to keep my chicks inside for as small amount of time as possible. I like to get them outside as early as I can. So I have a double box set up here. There is a hole cut through the middle so they can get through to either side. We have the heat plate on this side. On this side we have their food and their water. So when they're this small, this is plenty of room for them. They came in a teeny tiny little box. This is plenty of room for them. They will grow very fast, and probably in about 2 weeks, they will be too big for this space and they'll be outside. Now I've just woken up, so I haven't changed their water yet. but they have space on both sides that they can go back and forth. This will work for a couple of weeks. It's not a long-term setup for baby chicks, but for us having it indoors and not taking up a whole ton of space, this is a pretty good setup for when they're first hatched and very little. And then as they get a little bit older, we start trying to get them outside around 1 week. We'll slowly get increments of time of them outside. And what we'll do then is have them outside during the day and only bring them back inside at night when they're not big enough to stay outside overnight quite yet. So then they have lots more space to run around outside during the day, and they're gonna just huddle up and sleep at night anyways. So it works out well. One thing that's really important that you've probably heard about is that you need to check your chicks for pasty butt. Pasty butt is when they poop and it dries, covering their vent so that they cannot poop. It blocks the vent, and that can be life-threatening for chicks. So one of the ways I like to do this is to have a box so that I can really easily separate out who I've already checked and who hasn't been checked yet. So this little chick has some poop on its vent, but it is not blocking the vent. You can see the vent is still open, so it's okay. Oh no, see, that is all blocked up. So this has got to get cleaned. This chick is probably gonna have to sit in some soapy water to get this off, because if this does not get cleaned off, this will kill this chick. This water is warm but not hot, because you don't want to plunge them into cold water and drop their body temperature. So let's do the one that's not too bad first. It might pull some feathers a little bit, but it's got to get done. All right, that one's got it off. Not too bad. All right, now we're gonna get the really, really bad one. I've actually never seen pasty butt this bad before. I might have missed this one when I was checking. I try to put them into a separate box when I'm checking so that I can tell who I've checked and who I haven't. But if the poop is covering up their vent like this, where it's really dried on like that, then they cannot poop, and the poop is just going to be stuck in their body. And just like a human, if the poop was stuck in your body, that would not be good for you. It's got to go somewhere. And if it backs up in their body, that can kill them. So pasty butt is something you definitely want to be checking for with your baby chicks. And once it's wet, it really, it's not too hard to get it off. It just takes a little bit of work. I know, it's not super fun little chick, I'm sorry. But you'll feel better once it's all done. There's a big chunk come off. Oh, there's your bum. Almost got it. And as they get a little bit bigger, they will be able to clean their own butts fairly quickly. I rarely have to clean their butts after like the first week, but it is very important. Just gonna get that tiny little bit left on there. Very important to make sure your chicks' bums are clean. There you go. That one's got a cricket. They're fighting over it. Oh, no, Ellie. Ellie.
Mom, let me hold it.
That is too funny.
What? Mommy, I want the small chick. I want to go.
Ellie planted some of her little poppy seeds she got as a present in here, and they're starting to come up. But we're supposed to start getting a crazy amount of rain tonight into Wednesday, and we're supposed to get 3 to 6 inches. So I'm worried that much rain is going to wash these away. I don't know a way that I can like protect them or cover them so they don't get like washed away without squashing the bulbs that are in here. I don't know. Hopefully they'll be okay. If not, we have more seeds in the package so we can always plant more. Chicks are getting some outdoor time even though it's a little bit cooler today. I brought their brooder plate out and I just threw a comforter because it's a little bit breezy today too, so that kind of helps keep the wind from blowing, and they can just kind of pop under there. And I've just been checking on them intermittently to make sure they're not getting too cold, but they seem to be enjoying it. Those the white ones are leghorns and they are growing like nuts. Did you need some attention too? And the red ones are Rhode Island Reds. So both of those are breeds I haven't had before, but it's been really interesting seeing the size difference between the leghorns and the Rhode Island Reds. They're doing pretty good. I've been trying to think long term too about what our needs are when it comes to like firewood for the winter time, and trying to think about planning out planting trees with the intention of them being for firewood at some point, and like staggering planting so that we have enough to last us, if that makes sense. So trying to look into options for trees for firewood too. I got security cameras put up in the barn this week too, which gives me a little peace of mind. We had an incident about a month ago where I was out feeding the sheep, and the neighbor kids didn't know I was out there, and they were at my fence with their, I forgot you can't say that word on YouTube, so censored, stuck through my sheep's fence, pointing towards my house. And I was very upset and called their parent, and their parent didn't see that it was a big deal. So I have since gotten security cameras in the barn, and am working on trying to either get a privacy fence put up on that corner of the property or a hedge or something, just trying to figure out logistics of cost and how to do that. Because a privacy fence, to have a company do it, the company that my other fence is going to cost $9,000 just to do the back and the side of the property where my sheep are. So that's not really in my budget right now. And it's not the first or last time I've had an issue with them messing with my animals or coming over behind my chicken coop and things like that. So just trying to look into some options. The chicks are all outside now. There was 1 or 2 nights where it got down to like 21 degrees. I had to bring them back inside, but they've done fine overnight. If it's getting down to even 35, they have their heat plate in here, and they just huddle up in there. And I throw more straw in there at night because they like to swoop it all out, and the straw helps insulate them when it gets colder. And also, like, when you have a lot of chicks, their body heat keeps them warm too. So like the more chicks you have, the lower temperatures they can withstand. If I only had 6, I would not leave them out at 35 degrees. On the one hand, I feel like this anxiousness, like I need to get seeds started, I need to get going, I have all this stuff I need to get done. And on the other hand, I kind of feel like the weather has been really cold. Why rush into planting tomatoes and peppers and things that aren't going to do well in the cold and have to be babied? And we still have plenty of food in our pantry. I'll show you what we got. Here we are at my overflow pantry space in another closet. So my pantry in my kitchen is too small to hold everything that I need. So I have this pantry space in here where I put stuff from our summer garden or things that I stock up on. When I get my tax return every year, I stock up on things like dish soap, baking soda, cornstarch, vinegar, things that we're going to be needing throughout the year that aren't going to go bad. I try to buy as much as I need to last us the whole year, but not so much that we are having a bunch of extra left over. As you can see, I still have a lot of vinegar left over from last year and still have a bunch of Epsom salt down here, so I don't need to have as much of that when I order this coming year. These butternut squash and spaghetti squash are actually not from our garden. I bought these in bulk from a local farm because we didn't grow enough for us to have through the winter. I actually need to grab a few of these to make dinner tonight, so I'm going to take some of these with me. But you can see we're getting down to our last few squashes. Down on the bottom here, we've got cans of pickles, applesauce, tomato sauce, dried black beans from the garden. And then all of these boxes over here are all sweet potatoes from our garden that we still have left. The sugar and salt I actually got from a trade. I got 50 pounds of sugar and 25 pounds of salt. Back behind our stash of sweet potatoes, I have our extra canning jars back here boxed up. And then my other pantry here, it's a hot mess. I really need to get in here and clean it out. But this is where we put our stuff that we're using on a more regular basis. A lot of snack foods. I just went to the grocery store while I was hungry and I bought anything that looked good, so no judgment. But this is where I keep a lot of the stuff that we are using more frequently. I still have some canning jars in here and all kinds of stuff. We have a lot of elderberry syrups in here. I think I still have, no, that's elderberry juice. I don't know if I have any jams left. My jams might, oops. That's elderberry juice. I don't know if I have any jams left. I might have used up all my jams, which is fine because the strawberry farm is gonna have strawberries soon, and we'll make more jam then. But I think that's all elderberry juice. Oh, no. There's some blueberry jam left. There's some few jars back there. Okay. So yeah, I do have some stuff in here, like homegrown, homemade stuff. There's some pickles up there. But a lot of this is just more snacky foods, in all honesty. I ordered some trees to put up in the sheep's pasture too, because in the summer it gets real hot out here with no shade. So I got some trees we're gonna put up out here when they arrive. They should come, I think, end of this month, beginning of next month. So we'll put some trees out here and try to keep them protected so the sheep don't eat them until they can grow. And that will provide them with some shade over the summertime. The garden feels so barren right now, but in just a few months it will be overflowing. But man, it just feels so barren and empty. The grass is finally growing. Everybody's really excited. I got them out into a new spot today. And normally they won't even touch this up against the side of the barn. So they're really excited for the grass. They'll probably have this cleared out pretty fast. I'm down to like my last 8 or 10 bales of hay. So we may make it. It's a lot better than last year. Last year I ran out in January because I way underestimated how many bales. This year for 4 sheep, I got 60 small bales. And I think they're like 50-pound bales, but it's much easier for me to handle. I don't have equipment for like the large round bales, so the small bales work perfect for me. Our Arbor Day foundation trees just came. So So I'm getting those in the ground. If you have never gotten Arbor Day trees before, you get 10 trees and 2 flowering bushes. They were crepe myrtles for the flowering bushes for, I think it was like $12.95. And they ship it to your house when it's time to plant. So these are 2 of the trees left that I haven't planted yet. So this is the size you can expect if you do the Arbor Day, but I feel like it's a good deal. I'd rather get trees that are small. I think it's starting to grow a little bit on the end there. That I can prune the way that I want to, rather than getting a tree that is way overgrown. Man, we're having a big storm today coming through. So I'd rather have a small tree like this that I can prune the way that I want to, rather than getting one of the way overgrown trees from the box store and having to deal with it being not the way that I want it to be. So I am putting this on video just as much so that I can remember what I planted where, as much as I can tell you. So I'm trying to get some more shade in the sheep area, and it may take a couple years for these to actually be producing shade. So right here I did the 2 crab apples on the end, and I did 2 dogwoods in the middle over here, and then in the front area up here I did the red buds on the outsides and the hawthorns on the insides. So I put the trees like where I normally split up, where I split up the sections when I put the electric fence. So that way I can put the electric fence around the little trees while they start to grow, so the sheep don't kill them by eating them to the ground. But then that will give them, that's 8 trees in the front, and I'm gonna put these, I can't decide. One of the pine trees in the back of the barn is dead. It needs to come down. So I want to put one of these trees back there to replace it. And I really want to put one of these trees in my front yard, but I'm not 1,000% sure where the septic tank is, so I don't want to mess up that. I might have to think about where I want to put the 10th tree, but I put the crepe myrtles right by my front gate because I really want to have, at some point, I want to have like a hedge along the front of the property, just kind of cut down on the noise and give us a little bit more privacy too. So it's a little start to that maybe. I put the last hawthorn there in front of the pine tree that needs to get taken down instead. That's a gumball tree over there, which hopefully will come down at some point. Not on my barn, but by our choice. So I'm gonna save this last dogwood and put it near the house. We've got some really big storms coming in this weekend, so I'm working on getting tarps down. We went to the store and got some more concrete blocks to hold the tarps down. They're saying we might have some tornado type winds, so we're working on getting everything tied down or put away that could blow away. My tarps all stayed put, so that is good news. And there's something else I've noticed. My trees are just starting to bud this year. The last few years our trees have budded in February, and then we get another great big freeze and we're out here having to cover and put lights on and try to save our blossoms. Same with the blueberries. And this year it's middle of March and they're just now starting to bloom. So I'm really glad that I waited to start seeds this year, because that's a good indicator that it was the right choice. So the storms last night were not as bad as they were predicting to be here, thankfully. I actually slept through most of it. I woke up at like 4 in the morning and it was lightning and thunder, but you know how like when you have lightning and then thunder, you can count and that will tell you how close it is. It wasn't very close at all. So I don't think the storm was hitting us directly. Either that or I slept through it. I don't know. I was really tired last night. So everything is good. The animals are all good. I came out and checked everything in the morning. So spring is really springing over here, and I'm finally getting a lot of seeds done. Not the way that I wanted to. I ended up doing a bunch of seeds in one pot at a time. I don't have any out here right now. And then I'll separate them out. But it just got to the point where I was like, I just need to get it done, and I'll split them up after they germinate. So it's fine. But I think we'll get a lot of good fruit this year since our trees are budding now instead of in February, and our blueberries are budding now. And we shouldn't have any, well, I don't want to jinx us, but we shouldn't have any more terrible freezes We might have a few cold nights, but nothing that is going to be so extreme, hopefully. Usually our last frost date is somewhere between like the middle of April and the first week of May. It just depends on the year, honestly. But it's been so nice lately. Like, it hasn't gotten down too cold overnight in a while. So I hope you've enjoyed that update. I apologize that my life is so crazy right now that I don't know sometimes when I'm gonna be able to get a video up or just everything. So thanks for being here. I really enjoy hanging out with you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.